What if every single human being on this planet turned on their air conditioner? Right now. Not some, not most. Everyone. Your neighbor in Texas, a family in Mumbai, a businessman in Dubai where it's 115 degrees Fahrenheit outside, a kid in Sao Paulo. All of them. Same moment, same switch. Would the lights go out? Would cities collapse? Would we accidentally freeze the planet? Or burn it faster? Stick around, because the answer is so much more insane than you think. Let's start with the obvious question. Could we even do it? Right now, the entire world uses about 25,000 terawatt hours of electricity per year. That sounds like a lot, and it is. But here's the thing. Air conditioners alone already account for nearly 10% of all global electricity consumption. And that's with only about 2 billion units running, mostly in rich countries, mostly in summer. Now imagine turning on 6 billion more. In the United States alone, when a heat wave hits and everyone cranks the AC, grid operators go into emergency mode. They call it a demand surge, and it has caused blackouts in California, Texas, and New York just from normal summer spikes. Now, multiply that by the entire planet, simultaneously. Within seconds, power grids would begin to destabilize. Frequency drops, voltage collapses. Automatic safety systems called circuit breakers, designed to protect infrastructure, would start tripping. One grid goes down, it cascades to the next, then the next. Engineers have a name for this, a cascading failure. And we've seen it before. In 2003, a single tree branch touching a power line in Ohio triggered a blackout that knocked out power for 55 million people across the US and Canada in under 10 minutes. Now do that everywhere, at once. Within 3 to 5 minutes, most of the world's major power grids would be offline. Europe, North America, East Asia, gone. And here's the brutal irony. The AC units themselves would shut off because there'd be no power left to run them. Okay, so the grids collapse. Now what? This isn't just about being hot and uncomfortable. A global blackout, even for 24 hours, is a civilization-level event. Hospitals run on backup generators. Those generators have fuel for maybe 72 hours. After that, ICUs go dark. Ventilators stop. Operating rooms shut down. Water treatment plants need electricity to pump and purify water. No power means no clean water flowing to cities. Within days, you're looking at a public health catastrophe. Food supply chains freeze, literally and figuratively. Refrigeration dies. Supermarkets lose their inventory. Distribution centers can't operate. And communication? Cell towers have battery backups, usually for about 4 to 8 hours. After that, silence. No internet, no phone calls, no emergency services coordination. What started as a question about staying cool just became the largest infrastructure collapse in human history. Now, here's where it gets really weird, and this is the part nobody talks about. Air conditioners don't just use electricity, they move heat. That's literally all they do. They pull heat from inside your house and pump it outside. Your AC isn't destroying heat, it's relocating it. So what happens when 8 billion units are pumping heat outside simultaneously? Studies have already shown that in dense urban areas, cities like Tokyo, Phoenix, New York, AC units contribute meaningfully to something called the urban heat island effect. The streets and sidewalks outside are measurably hotter because of all that expelled heat. Now, scale that globally. For the first few hours, before the grid collapses, you'd have an almost incomprehensible amount of thermal energy being dumped into the atmosphere. Cities would get hotter outside, even as interiors cooled. And those AC units? Most of them still use refrigerants, chemicals that, if they leak, are hundreds to thousands of times more potent as greenhouse gases than CO2. So, in the short term, the planet warms faster outside, even as everyone inside feels cooler. The ultimate self-defeating machine. Here's the part that's actually optimistic and surprising. The grid doesn't have to stay down forever. Engineers and grid operators are some of the most prepared people on Earth for exactly these scenarios. Black start procedures, protocols for restarting a dead grid from scratch, exist in every major country. In practice, restoring a major grid after a full collapse takes anywhere from a few hours to several days, depending on the region. Some areas of the world with simpler, more decentralized grids, think rural communities with local solar or hydro, might barely notice. And this thought experiment actually reveals something important that real engineers are actively working on. The grid of the future has to handle this kind of demand. With climate change making heat waves more frequent and more severe, the pressure on power systems is only going to grow. Places like California and Texas are already investing billions in grid modernization, battery storage, and demand response systems, basically technology that can automatically reduce consumption before a collapse happens. The question isn't if grids will face this pressure, it's whether we'll be ready. So, what actually happens if everyone on Earth turns on their AC at the same time? The grid collapses within minutes. A cascading blackout takes down civilization's infrastructure. The ACs turn themselves off. Cities get hotter outside. And then, slowly, painfully, we start to rebuild. But here's the real takeaway. We don't need a crazy thought experiment to stress the power grid. We're already doing it. Every summer, every heat wave, every year that gets hotter than the last, we're inching closer to the edge of what our infrastructure can handle. The scenario we talked about today? It's fiction. The underlying problem? Absolutely not. If this video fried your brain a little, good. Hit subscribe, because next week we're asking, what happens if the internet goes down everywhere forever? I'll see you there.